Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Gaur Premanandi. Somebody needs to mute themselves. You're 7002. Please mute yourself. Because we're hearing the sound of rattling papers and things in the background. But she can mute. Thank you very much. Mute. Very good. So we're reading Bhagavatam Canto 7, Chapter 10, text number 4. And if you have the verse in front of you, you can recite along with us. Nanyata te kila guru gateta karunatmanaha yastu ashisha ashaste nasabritya savai vanik nanyata te kila guru gateta karunatmanaha yasta ashisha ashaste nasabritya savai vanik Nanyata te kila guru gateta karunatmanaha yata ashisha ashaste nasabritya savai vanik Nanyata te kila guru gateta Nanyata te guru gateta karunatmanaha nata ashisha ashaste na not anyata otherwise te of you akila guru oh supreme instructor of the entire creation gateta such a thing can happen karuna atmanaha the supreme person who is extremely kind to his devotees. Yaha, any person who, te, from you, ashishaha, material benefits, ashaste, desires, in exchange for serving you. Na, not, saha, such a person, Vrityaha, a servitor. Saha, such a person. Vai, indeed. Vanik, a merchant who wants to get material profit from his business. Translation, otherwise, my Lord, O Supreme Instructor of the entire world, you are so kind to your devotee that you could not induce him to do something unbeneficial for him. On the other hand, one who desires some material benefit in exchange for devotional service cannot be your pure devotee. Indeed, he is no better than a merchant who wants profit in exchange for his service, or exchange for service. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. It is sometimes found that one comes to a devotee or a temple of the Lord just to get some material benefit. Such a person is described here as a mercantile man. Bhagavad Gita speaks of arto jigyasu artarti. The word arta refers to one who is physically distressed, and artarti refers to one who's in need of money. Such persons are forced to approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead for mitigation of their distress or to get some money by the benediction of the Lord. They have been described as sukriti, or pious, because in their distress or need for money, they have approached the Supreme Lord. Unless one is pious, one cannot approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead. However, although a pious man may receive some material benefit, one who is concerned with material benefits cannot be a pure devotee. When a pure devotee receives material opulences, this is not because of his pious activity, but for the service of the Lord. When one engages in devotional service, one is automatically pious. Therefore, a pure devotee is anyabhilashita shunyam. He has no desire for material profit, nor does the Lord induce him to try to profit materially. When a devotee needs something, the Supreme Personality of Godhead supplies. Yoga Kshema Vahamyaham. Paragraph. Sometimes materialists go to a temple to offer flowers and fruit to the Lord because they've learned from Bhagavad Gita that if a devotee offers some flowers and fruits, the Lord accepts them. In Bhagavad Gita 9:26, the Lord says, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhakti uparatam ashnami prayatat manaha. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf flower, fruit, or water, I will accept it. Thus, a man with a mercantile mentality thinks that if he can get some material profit, like a large amount of money, simply by offering a little fruit and flower, this is good business. Such persons are not accepted as pure devotees because their desires are not purified. They are still mercantile men, even though they go to temples to make a show of being devotees. Sarvoparivanir muktam tat paratvena nirmalam. Only when one is fully freed from material desires can one be purified, and only in that purified state can one serve the Lord. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchate. This is the pure devotional platform. We've heard this before, not a new message. Devotional service means Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam. But supposing we do the Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam, and there's an expectation. And the expectation is something back, please. Now, it's a rarely achieved platform. Pure devotion is rarely achieved. It's one of the characteristics of that stage of bhakti. You know that there's 6 characteristics of devotional service, and 2 apply to the beginning stage or Kanishta stage, 2 apply to the Madhyama stage, and 2 apply to the prema stage or uttama stage, and one of them is rarely achieved. Bhakti, prema bhakti is rarely achieved. So if you happen to be in the category of you're not a pure devotee yet, then that means likely there's some material desire. And where do you park that material desire? The idea, the direction of devotional service is there's a beginning, intermediate, and more advanced stage. In the beginning, you approach the Supreme Lord for the mitigation of that desire. And that's a pious, 4 types of pious people. So it puts you in the category of a pious person. Prabhupada would speak about this so much. The prayer, the Christian prayer, not that he was picking upon Christians, but it was just so explicit. Give us our daily bread. So the prayer to God to give us bread is, it's a request. In life, there's requests. In relationship with Krishna, there's requests, and there's degrees or degrees of elevation of those requests. So this anya. Is it not coming through? What's that? They're saying a little louder, please. Okay. One solution is 2 microphones. Gosh. Let's tighten that. Okay. I feel like an important person. I got 2 microphones. Gosh. 2 microphones. I mean, how many do you have? Okay. Okay, so it's good. It's not bad. And it's honest. If one has. So now, how to elevate? Well, you continue your devotional service with your wants. And then the understanding is that's a banik. Banik it means a merchant. And so I'm doing something to get something. That's what merchants do. And so be honest. And so let's be honest. So I want something. Then the elevation is gradually, it's a different stages of elevation. Gradually becoming purified by contact with Krishna. And then the wants subside, or one directs those wants towards a higher purpose. And the higher purpose is that Krishna should be pleased. No, at some stage, there's no need to ask for things I want because Krishna is very kind. It's like when it's winter, it doesn't get so cold down here, but when it's winter, the child doesn't have to ask their mother and father, can I have a jacket? They've got 5 jackets. Loving parents are always anticipating the needs of their children. The child doesn't have to ask. The child can ask, that's okay. The parents don't mind, that's also okay. But the higher position is no need to ask because it's going to be supplied by the loving parent or the loving superior. And therefore, a higher position is, how can I serve you? Or the intermediate stage, out of gratitude for all that I have received, let me do something. So that awakening of, although I may have my wants, and I'm approaching the Supreme Lord to have those wants or needs, stronger needs to be fulfilled, with gratitude for all that's been received, let me do something. Let me say something, do something. Let me extend myself, not with a want. And gradually, that the wants can be purified. The wants for something material can be purified. And then the wants if in progressive bhakti, the wants become transformed into, I want to be engaged, please engage me in your service. That's our Hare Krishna mantra, after all. Please engage me in your service. And Prabhupada would point to how many of our, for each center, or he would give numbers, what's our annual or monthly expenditure? And where's that coming from? Krishna's maintaining us. Or the elephants, the 40 kilos per day, who's maintaining? It's the Supreme. So if the Supreme is going to maintain an elephant or an ant, why is the Supreme not going to maintain his devotee? So that he's going to maintain us doesn't mean we become complacent. It means that's not required to be my purpose in terms of service. I do because I get. So that's not pure devotional service. So what Prahlad is, the previous verse, Prahlad was saying that the personality of Godhead sent him from the spiritual world. He's a Vaikunthavasi. He sent him to the spiritual world to teach the way of pure devotional service. So he is teaching the way of pure devotional service in this verse. It's no need to be like a merchant when I do something to get something. So back to the question I was asking, where do you park desires? You purify them. Connect them to the Supreme Pure, and that which is connected to the Supreme Pure becomes pure. And so as one progresses, you don't become complacent, but needs will be looked after. I'll give a nice example. This is Prabhupada's example. During his business days, the British had an idea that they wanted soldiers for the British Army. I think it was during World War II or something like that. And he got very specific. The Prime Minister of England made a plan that they would buy up all the rice so there'd be a rice shortage. So there would be like a famine, and people wouldn't have enough money. And then, the rice went up to so many rupees per kilo, et cetera, et cetera. And then the government had this thing, you join the army and we'll take care of your rice problems. If I've understood it correctly, that's what Prabhupada was saying. So when that was a problem in India, even people that had means, it was too expensive. And then people that didn't have means were starving. So it was a starvation plan to get soldiers for the British Army. Very nasty, very nasty. So Prabhupada knew that you didn't necessarily know why there was a famine, but there was a famine. And so he went to the temple. There was a Gaudiya Math temple near where his business was, and asked them, do you have any needs, because I can help supply some rice? And they said, no. We've been given so much rice, we're giving it away to people who are poor. So Prabhupada said, then I understand Krishna takes care of his devotees. I mean, it's not that he didn't understand before that, but it's just a nice example. So, what's our expenditure? And we have Food for Life programs where, it's not a food problem. We don't need to go to God, please give us our food. Please give us our daily bread. I mean, there's no problem. It's not a bad thing to do, but there's no need to do. Rather, if one's effort is, this is the idea of pure devotional service, coming to the stage of pure devotional service is progressively leaving those, anya means other, abhilash means desire. Anya abhilash shunya means zippo. Nada, right? Nothing. Anya abhilash shunya. Which kind of abhilash? There's two mentioned, jnana and karma, anavritam. So if there isn't those two, jnana and karma, then what's left? There is a desire. The desire is to be engaged in service. Anukulyena Krishna Anushilanam. And then that becomes one's life. Emerging from the pile of ashes is the desire simply to be engaged in Krishna's service. And will Krishna not maintain such a person? Krishna will certainly maintain such a person. Because I recently covered the whole discussion of Sudama Brahman. I'll just touch on that because someone might say, well, wait a minute, Sudama was not only a devotee, he was a pure devotee. And not only was a pure devotee, he was Krishna's dear friend. He had that kind of pure devotion. He was Sakya, friend, dear friend, a worshipper of Krishna, but dear friend. And how poor was he? He was so poor that, according to what the verse in the Bhagavatam says, he was so skinny that his veins were bulging from his arms and his body. He was so skinny. He hardly ate anything. And then the verse says, and his wife was more austere than he was, because whenever they would receive something, she would give it to him because she didn't want to see him so famished. So they were a good match. They were both very renounced. But she couldn't bear to see him emaciated like that, and so forth and so on. So going fast forward, when Sudama came to visit his friend, there was some discussion, if I recall, the other evening. Why did he go? Because he's an Anya Abhilash person. He went because he wanted to see Krishna. I mean, he was concerned about his wife being concerned, but that wasn't the reason. The reason was he wanted to see Krishna. This is a good reason to go to see Krishna, is just to see Krishna. So, commentary says, I think I mentioned this the other day, but I like it. Krishna considered this devotee of mine, Sudama, even if he hasn't asked me, and even if I just volunteered to give him something, he would say no because he just doesn't like to take something. So I won't embarrass him. But when he gets back to his home, then he'll receive. Then he doesn't have to be embarrassed. Krishna considered. Krishna doesn't force you to take something you don't want. In this case, he's asking Prahlad, take a benediction, blank check, how much? And Prahlad is saying, no thanks, please don't tempt me in this way. I'm already, in the earlier verse that we read, I'm filled with lusty desires because I have bad association. Look at the family I'm in, and so don't tempt me because I'll just fall into big Maya. But then on the other hand, he's saying, I'm sent to teach the way of pure devotion, and I won't ask anything. And because doing so, it would indicate I'm a merchant. I'm doing service to get something. So Dhamma, can you mute yourself, please? Thank you. So that's the way of pure devotional service. Yes. Hare Krishna. Yes. That's right. That's right. That's right. We discussed that. That was the first. The first class that I gave was on that point in particular. He was saying in verse number 2 or 3, I'm filled with lusty desires, and please don't tempt me. He was speaking from a place of humility, not that he was moved by those desires. Yes. Yeah. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Which chapter? Okay. Previous chapter. Right. Right. Of course we should use, but it means separate from bhakti. Jnana, separate from Krishna. There are persons that really like jnana, separate from Krishna. That kind of jnana. Karma means activity with the intention of getting something. So the definition, this verse is a definition of, at the very last line, it's Uttama Bhakti. The last line is Uttama Bhakti. So Uttama Bhakti is devoid of those things, devoid of the standalone kind of things. Doing something to get something, learning and learning and learning with Krishna not in the picture. Yes, yes, that's right. It's a definition of bhakti, but because bhakti is pure. Now, you wanted me to invite our guests, the online people. Online people, there's a little signal that says, because Sweta Swarup hasn't upgraded up to longer than 45 minutes, since he hasn't upgraded to more than 45 minutes, we're going to be done with you folks in about 5 minutes, just because the Zoom session is going to end. So I'm inviting you to ask any questions you'd like before you get bumped off. Anyone has anything, please just unmute yourself and say it. Going once.
Anybody have any question, you can ask Maharaj.
Going twice. We have something in the room. Go ahead. Yes, 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 yes. You can ask for it. Yes, yes. Gratitude isn't the highest. It's high, but it's not the highest. It's simply, the highest is, of course, then there's, the highest is the gopis, but the highest, the platform of Uttama Bhakti is simply I want to be engaged in service. That can be a humbling expression or a humbling position, but it's the Uttama position. I simply want to serve. Fill in the blank. Just like the other way, here Lord Nrsingadev is offering Prahlad, here's a blank check, put in the amount. And this is the devotee saying to the Supreme Lord, here's a blank check, you fill in the amount. You just engage me however you want. And that's Lord Chaitanya's teaching. Nadanam, Najanam, Nasundarim. So he's not asking for anything other than devotional service. That's That's the Uttama platform. No, then it gets refined. In that Uttama platform, there's rasas and there's degrees. So the degree or the gradations in bhakti is according to rasa, but any of the rasas, they're shuddha or prema. It's the pure platform. Just like Prahlad, it's Uttama Bhakti. And he's a Vaikunthavasi. He's not in the gradations of rasa position like we find in Vrindavan or in amongst those who are associates of Krishna, even out of Vrindavan, gradations of rasa. So you want to carry that further? You're okay?
You can go ahead.
Go ahead, take your second question. You're in a roll.
You mentioned that the highest is the gopis. So does that mean that one of the rasas is better than the other rasas?
No, not better. It's just that what makes it that there's no better. What's the Sanskrit? Lord Chaitanya's teaching. Vrajavadu Vargena Kalpita. There's no better worship than the Vrajavadu, the groups of gopis serving Krishna. Now, so what makes it the best? And one might say degrees of intimacy. One might also say the degrees of selflessness. We're going to say, wait a minute, we're going to say that Mother Yasoda was selfish? Or the cowherd boys were selfish? Is that what you're saying? No, that's not what we're saying. The degree of selflessness of the gopis is superlative. And because of that selflessness, the type of loving exchange that they have with Krishna is the topmost. This is Lord Chaitanya's teaching. That's what that phrase says. Now, you're next.
It is the anxiety to seeing Krishna. It might help, or it might be an obstacle to get to the devotion.
It's not an obstacle. But Krishna will show himself if he wants. So no need to be in anxiety. Having that hankering is nice. And nicer than nice is just wanting to serve. And he can do with me whatever he likes. That's Lord Chaitanya's teaching, right? From Shikshastaka. Yes?
You mentioned that how we show our gratitude by engaging in devotional service. And we understand that we do service based on guidance of sadhus and gurus. But also many times we hear new people talk about Krishna told me to do this, or Krishna in my heart told me, or the divine told me this and that. It really disturbs me.
Very elevated souls.
How do I respond to it without getting disturbed by it?
Just smile. I mean, it depends on the person. Depends on their capacity to hear. Some people don't have a capacity to hear. It depends on you and the person. This super soul may inspire you to get a hammer out and smash them, but otherwise, just smile. You're so elevated. Krishna's talking to you. You're such a wonderful. May I become so elevated like you one day. But for me, I need to hear from Bhagavad Gita and Guru Sadhu Shastra, and that's the guidance that I like. I feel very, very safe in that space. I mean, you can say different things depending upon the relationship and you and the time, place, circumstance. And stubborn people, they're not likely to hear too well. So it depends.
Follow-up question, because we also, yesterday's class, you did mention that the knowledge also resides within us, and
Yes.
of the topic of Chaitanya.
Yes. It's possible for one who's very elevated, but if there's something that comes from Chaita Guru, that should be confirmed by Guru Sadhu Shastra. There's a nice verse I've been liking a lot lately from Brahma Samhita. You're going to take a note because it's an important message. Yadarshi Yadarshi Shraddha Siddhi Bhavati Tadrashi. Yadarshi Tadrashi. It means as this, so that. It's a introduction to a comparison, a metaphor, or as something that's known comes something unknown. Yadarshi Tadrashi. So it's twice. Yadarshi Yadarshi Shraddha. That means according to faith. Siddhi Bhavati. Bhaktisiddhanta, you're taking notes. Bhaktisiddhanta translates this siddhi as realization. Bhavati, arises. Realization arises or is imparted corresponding to one's faith. So supposing Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is a nice example, or Jiva Goswami or the 6 Goswamis, they would get realizations. Their realizations is Krishna's revealing things to them. Some fellow over there that has, I got a realization. Super Soul chatted with me and said something. We don't put much stock in that because the consciousness, there may be some realization, but it's also filtered and likely distorted. Because consciousness is not pure. When consciousness is pure, then it's a whole other story. So Super Soul, that is to say, Super Soul is prompting the thief. You've heard this one, right? That the thief is prowling around at night. And Super Soul says, not now, someone's coming. Or the cat, this is another Prabhupada example. The cat waits for the housewife to leave the kitchen so she can jump on the table and get the milk. Super Soul is giving intelligence to everyone to do anything that prompt, according to the guna and karma. So someone may feel something. Then you and I want to hold that up to the light of Guru Sadhu Shastra. Is it transparent or opaque? And if there's confirmation from Shastra, then we can smile. And if it's not, we can smile. Your question was, how do I deal with these people? The inside you should smile. That's how you deal with those people. In the inside. And then how you speak, how you express yourself on the outside depends on time, place, circumstance. And you can give a scriptural lesson if needed, if the person's receptive. Or, it depends on time, place, circumstance. You can give them a little 5-minute lesson. So here's something that I've learned by associating with sadhus. The lesson that I've learned is inspiration needs confirmation. And so you feel inspired, no doubt. I'm not doubting that you feel inspired. And I no doubt because you're saying it, you feel that Super Soul inside that's inspiring you. Now, the lesson that I've learned, because I also get inspired, I want to understand, is this confirmed by Guru Sadhu Shastra? Is there alignment? And if not, then I don't put much value in it. So that's my response to your inspiration. Now, some people will feel insulted or slap you or who knows what. So it depends on the circumstance.
This question, see, sometimes the devotees, they individually connected according to their advancement. So sometimes super soul may guide them accordingly. So now here, what I am listening from the super soul and what he is listening may not be same.
Well, it definitely cannot be the same. That may
because
be.
of his standards of his bhakti.
Well, that's that. What you're saying is that verse from Brahma Samhita. Yadashi Yadashi Shraddha Siddhi Bhavati. Tadrashi. Okay. Online question. How's that?
This question is by Sucharita Mataji. Would it be appropriate to think surrender is doing according to Krishna's will?
Yes. Now, how do you determine Krishna's will? Well, if you're Rupa Goswami, he'll tell you. And if you're not Rupa Goswami, it's Guru Sadhu Shastra. And supposing you're somewhere in between, Guru Sadhu Shastra, that's your guideline. Anything else? You have something? You're just scratching. But Bedasar. Anything. And he's asking for something. Well, he doesn't. He takes and he gives. Yeah. He just wants to show us. Just see. It can go the other way. The Bali Maharaj, he took everything. Just see. I wanted to show everybody. Just see. So, before, in advance, he knows what their answer is going to be. Yeah. And to teach us a lesson. What's the standard of pure devotion? The standard of pure devotion of Bali was this way. Standard of pure devotion for... It's same thing. It's very nice, similar, almost the same, is Muchukunda. And he didn't want anything. I'm fully satisfied. Just please, birth after birth, just let me, same as Lord Chaitanya taught, please just engage me in your service. You have something? Okay. More online.
Another question by Chinmay Desai. I am not able to perform any sadhana which is making me feel insecure.
What's making me feel insecure?
Insecure.
There's negatives. Let me just catch it. I'm not able to perform sadhana that helps me feel insecure. So they're always feeling insecure regardless of sadhana.
No, because they are not able to perform the sadhana, they are feeling insecure.
Well,
so
zero sadhana or quality sadhana? That's my question to the questioner. Yeah, you certainly can perform sadhana. So it's not you can't perform any sadhana. That's who's tying your arms. It may be not the best, but whatever you are able to muster. I'm not sure I've understood the question, but I'm responding. Anyone else? Yes. Last question. You have the honor of the last question.
I don't remember exactly the verse in the Bhagavad Gita when Krishna say that the Sankhya Yoga and the world with devotion are like in the same level.
They're the same. Not on the same level. They're the same.
Could you explain this?
Sure. The Sankhya properly understood, just keeping it in real simple language, is to understand what's what. When you understand what's what, you engage in devotional service. Supposing you're engaged in devotional service, you know what's what. You can't be engaged in devotional service if you don't know what's what. If you're in La La Land, you're not going to be engaged in devotional service. So if you're engaged in devotional service, knowledge will awaken. It's not that you snap your fingers and now all knowledge is there in my hand. But they're the same. It's to understand Krishna through the medium of devotional service, and Sankhya is a means of understanding Krishna. And the exhibition of understanding Krishna is you engage in his service. I'll say the same thing in a different way. Same thing in a different way. You know who Kapila Dev is, right? Okay. So Kapila Dev is famous. He's known for his teaching what? Sankhya philosophy. And when you go through chapter 26 of Canto 3, it's Sankhya, 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 just like we discussed yesterday evening, the 24 elements and how they unfold and so forth and so on. And it's like very elaborate and very complex. And in the end of the chapter, it's not like Gyan, but with that knowledge, it's two short statements. With that knowledge, one engages in meditation. Because it's such a yoga and he's speaking. So what's the means of perfection? Meditation. You know what's what through meditation, and then in that stage of meditation, then devotional service. Then devotional service. So, because meditation isn't just meditation, it's the mood of wanting to please the Supreme upon whom one is meditating. Or saying the same thing in a different way. Mama nusmara yujyacha. Always think of me and engage in my devotional service. Or the final verse of chapter 6 of Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna, by all means, be a devotee. And that topmost stage of devotee has two things. What the mind does and what the body does. Madgatain antaratmana. That's what the mind does. Antar means within. Atma, the soul, the supreme soul. Madgatain antaratmana. With your mind absorbed in me, that's what the mind does in meditation and in bhakti. When meditation is complete, as in what Kapila Dev is teaching, it comes in the form of bhakti. And Shadhavan bhajate yomam. So that's what the body does. With faith, bhaj. You engage in the senses with sense object for the pleasure of the master of the senses. Shadhavan bhajate yomam. Same yukta uttama. Uttama means topmost. It's the topmost form of yoga. So Sankhya leads to bhakti. Or Sankhya is an integral part of bhakti. It's not that one has to be a Sankhya philosopher, but you have to have a basic understanding of what's what. And knowledge, back to the point that you were making, knowledge is within. Supposing you're not a scholarly personality. I know some people that are not so scholarly. That's just fine. Intuitively, by the prompting of Supersoul, they have a basic understanding. And the basic understanding that they're prompted by from Supersoul is confirmed in Scripture. If it's not confirmed in Scripture, they have to hit the reset button. They have to do a refresh on what they think they've understood. But that within bhakti, there's knowledge of what's what. When the exhibition of knowing what's what, one engages in bhakti. You have some other online. One more, and this is it.
This question is by Shyam Bihari Prabhu. In spite of all intentions to perform all karma for pleasure of Krishna, being in material world, how do we ascertain that our karma is pleasing Krishna?
I'm sure Shambhihari knows the verse. There's two standards. They're both saying the same thing. One I like, that's Bhaktivinoda Thakur's. He says two things. My attraction for Krishna is growing, and my attraction for material is diminishing. Those are their characteristics or lakshana of Krishna's being pleased. Or saying the same thing just with different language. Bhakti parishano bhavo viraktir anyatra. And Prabhupada adds this word shat. It's not in the verse, but shat. What arises is three things. That Krishna is being pleased, that is, a symptom is my enthusiasm, my attraction to being always engaged, incessantly engaged in service. Second, some feelings toward Para Isha, the supreme controller. I have feelings towards the person who I'm serving. And viraktir anyatra, detachment from other things. That's this anya abhila shunyam message, but detachment from other things. Okay, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.